Alright, what's going on, guys? So we're back to the videos here. Took the weekend off, the Friday slate had or when I looked on Friday, it was like for Saturday and Sunday, and because NBA doesn't have lineup, or because NBA does have lineup lock, I decided to just not even risk it in case, injuries or something came up. So that's why I avoided that. Sunday, I just really didn't have time to make a video, but we're back here today, and let's get right into it. The first game is going to be Golden State at Utah. So Utah's at home now. Golden State is still favored, and the over-under is around 206.5. The second game is Houston at San Antonio. The Spurs are favored, and the over/under in that game is 215. So let's get right into it. Point guards. James Harden, his price is at 11,000. Now he's been much better recently, getting 59 and 57, but still, I feel like if you're gonna pay up for Harden, you need him to get at least 60 and kind of anchor your lineup, especially if you're paying 11,000. So for that reason, I probably won't be paying up for Harden. Steph Curry 8,500. His price has decreased, and that's because recently his fantasy points have decreased. With KD back, KD's been kind of the focal point of that offense at this point. Yeah, Steph is still going to be one of the guys there, one of the big four, and he's still going to be relied upon to score 20 plus, 30 plus points. But at 8,500, I'm going to go cheaper at point guard and load up somewhere else. Moving on, we got George Hill. He's questionable. Even if he does play, I'm not a George Hill guy. He's questionable right now. He's coming off an injury. The fact that he had to skip a game even in the playoffs tells me that this injury is pretty serious, and that even if he comes back, he might not be 100%. So I'm going to be staying away from George Hill. My first point guard option that I kind of like is Patty Mills. Now, if you guys remember my last video, I did said I'm not a huge fan of Patty Mills, and he got 22.5 points, which is all right. It's all right because he was at around 4,400, I believe, at that time. Now he's at 5,300, so Patty Mills is an okay option because I think he'll get at least 25 points today at home. 25 fantasy points, not real life points, but he's an okay option. Moving on, we got Patrick Beverly. Um, Patrick Beverly had a solid game last night, 10, 4, and 6 with one steal. I like Patrick Beverly again tonight. His price is very cheap at 5,100, and I think he can get 30 tonight, 30 fantasy points. So Patrick Beverly is probably going to be one of my favorite point guard plays. Lou Williams, 4,900. His price has decreased just because his production lately has decreased. I'm not a huge fan of Lou Williams. I know I was high on him, but not really anymore. He's too inconsistent. Shovel Max, an interesting play if and only if George Hill is out, because he's been very solid in the 2 games George Hill hasn't played. DeJounte Murray, he's too young. He didn't get enough minutes, so I'm not going to be playing him even at 3,100. And yeah, that's about it for point guards. Moving on to shooting guards. Klay Thompson, still don't like Klay Thompson. If you look at his last game, he only had 9.3 points, so not a huge Klay Thompson guy. The only reason why he had 35 fantasy points a few nights ago was because he had 6 rebounds and 6 assists. That's not going to happen again. Not a huge Klay Thompson guy. Eric Gordon, between Eric Gordon and Lou Williams, Eric Gordon is definitely the safer play. I did say this before. I feel like Eric Gordon has the floor of 20, so if you were looking for a solid 20 points, I think Eric Gordon's a very solid play here. Joe Johnson at 4,700. No, his production's been down. I'm just not a huge Joe Johnson guy, especially at this price. Iggy at 4,500. Same thing. He gets the minutes, but he doesn't get enough production in those minutes to be worth 4,500. Danny Green, I figured would be a playmaker with Patty Mills, or Tony Mills, Tony Parker out. He really didn't shoot much. He only had 3 points and 3 rebounds and 0 assists, which was kind of surprising to me. But 4,300, he's always worth like a dart. Just if you're looking for someone to fill in 4,300, Danny Green could be worth a look. Joe Ingles and Rodney Hood are 2 guys that are only going to be solid if George Hill is out. But if George Hill does play, then their value decreases significantly. Manu is he's getting less than 20 minutes, getting 10 points, but 10 fantasy points. But at 3,800, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm probably going to be looking right towards this guy, Jonathan Simmons. He's had over 10 points in the last 4 games. He's had 20 plus minutes in his last 3. He had 27 fantasy points last game. At 3,400, Jonathan Simmons, I really love him. The Spurs are at home, so Jonathan Simmons is probably going to be my favorite cheap option at shooting guard / small forward. Now, small forward, Kawhi is back home. I love Kawhi tonight in this spot. I think he rebounds from that disappointing game, and I think that he gets at least 50 plus fantasy points. KD might be my favorite play on the slate just because he's still so cheap. He looks fully recovered from that injury. He's getting rebounds. He's scoring. At 9,300, he is way too cheap to be faded. So I love Kevin Durant tonight. Gordon Hayward at 8,000. He's had a good series so far against the Warriors. He had 47.8 and then 40. So at 8,000, he could be worth a look. But like I said, KD is my favorite small forward play. So if I'm paying for small forward, it's going to be for Kevin Durant, not Gordon Hayward. Trevor Ariza is too inconsistent to me. At home, he had those two good games, but on the road, he had a good game and a bad game. It seems like I don't know, he's a little too inconsistent for me. It's like he could get that 35-point game or get that 10-point game, and if you get a 10-point game from Trevor Ariza, it's just devastating. So I'm not going to be looking towards him. That's about it for small forwards. Moving on to power forwards. You guys know how much I love my Draymond Green. I love Draymond. I think he can get. He only had 33 fantasy points last game. I think he bounces back to get 40 plus. Draymond's the type of guy to not let him kind of get quieted in statistics twice. So I like Draymond Green. He's gonna bounce back. At 7,800, his price has decreased a little, so I think he could definitely get 45 plus points. Now Aldridge proved me wrong last time. He had or 2 nights ago, he had that 45.3 fantasy point game with 26 points and 7 rebounds. He came up big scoring, but I did say that his rebounding numbers would be down. He has yet to top 10 rebounds in the series. Mostly because the Rockets have 2 3-point shooting power forwards. And so when he's not scoring, his value is down. And for that reason, I'm going to be fading Aldridge at 6,900. I just saw something that said Ryan Anderson's coming off the bench. Now that could help his value because he would be one of the primary scorers off the bench. But like I said, just like Trevor Ariza, he's too inconsistent for me. So I'm going to be shying away from Ryan Anderson. Derek Favors, I don't know if it's the injury, but he hasn't played his normal share of minutes. He did. If you look at his game log here, during the first 3 games, he had 30 plus, and then since then he has only had 30 minutes once. I don't like Derek Favors, especially because he's going to be matched up against Draymond Green. And the rest of these guys, like David West, if you just need like a dart throw at maybe a guy who can get you 10 plus points, you could look towards David West. Boris Diaw, if Derek Favors just doesn't play, he's always an interesting option. David Lee is not that great of an option. He hasn't top 10 fantasy points in a while. Let's see. That's about it. Moving on to center, Rudy Gobert, my favorite, is the favorite center on the slate. He's my favorite center on the slate. He finally looks healthy again. Had 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists, and 2 blocks this last game. At 7,900, I think Rudy hits above 45 points again, especially at home. So at 7,900, he's definitely a look. Pau Gasol at 5,900. Now he's had 3 good games in a row, but I'm still not going to be looking towards him. I'm just scared to play him because I feel like at any moment we could get that 18.5 point fantasy Pau Gasol or that 5.5, and I really feel like you need safety. This might be my favorite center play of the night, Clint Capella. If you guys saw anything or any news, you would have seen that Nene is now out for the rest of the playoffs, which means Clint Capella and Montrezl Harrell are going to be the 2 centers. Clint Capella should get at least 30 plus minutes tonight. Usually if you look at his game log, he's been splitting minutes with Nene. He rarely tops 25 minutes. Besides the one on May 5th, if you look at his game log, he hasn't topped 25 minutes since April 12th. So I feel like he gets over 25 minutes tonight. He gets around 30, maybe even more. And if he can do that, I think he gets a double-double and has a big game. So Clint Capella is my favorite center on the slate. JaVale McGee and Zaza Pachulia are both, if you were just looking for like a Hail Mary type of thing, you could get a really good JaVale McGee today, maybe the one that gets you 21 fantasy points or that 30 fantasy point game, or you could get the dud. Zaza is more consistent. He's going to get you 10 plus, not more than 20. He's just going to be in that 10 to 20 range, nothing much more. Dwayne Dedmon is a guy I've been saying that the Spurs should play more for quite some time now. For some reason, I'm not one to question Greg Popovich. Obviously, he's a coaching legend, but I really feel like Dwayne Dedmon could really help them down low. He's an excellent rim protector, excellent defensive center, but they just have played Pau Gasol and they like his offense more, I guess. So Dwayne Dedmon hasn't gotten the minutes that he should be, in my opinion. But if he does get those minutes, he's going to be very solid for you. He's going to get rebounds, blocks. He'll score like 6 to 8 points. So at 2,500, Dwayne Dedmon's worth a throw if you think that the Spurs are going to play him tonight. Who knows at this point? And that's about it. So to quickly recap, we're going to go point guards here. Ones that I like: Mills, Beverly, Mack if George Hill is out. That's about it. Shooting guard, Eric Gordon, Danny Green, Ingles if George Hill is out, and Jonathan Simmons. Small forward, I love KD and I love Kawhi. I'll probably be playing both of them in my lineups, and that's about it. At power forward, love Draymond and no one else really. Center, I love Rudy Gobert, love Clint Capella. I'm telling you guys, Clint Capella is in store for a big game tonight. I love Clint Capella, and that's about it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you watch this video, please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and comment any suggestions or whatnot in the comment section. All right, I'll see you guys later.